Working on our next set of 3, these are going to be deep to soleus. So these are the deep musculature of the posterior lower leg. And we are going to have a flexor hallucis or hallucis longus that will be going to the big toe. And what it's doing is it's just going to flex the hallux. Flexor digitorum longus is going to flex the toes. And then tibialis posterior is going to invert the foot. So as we take a look, here are the gastrocnemial heads right here. So we find big toe right here. This tells us there is the medial side of this leg we're looking at. So this medial head is going to run right here. And here is the lateral head. We also see a little bit of plantaris right here, but it's going to dive underneath gastrocnemius and run on top of soleus. And we see just a little bit of soleus here on both sides. Now, once we cut gastrocnemius, we're just going to remove these 2 heads. Now we see the extent of soleus right here. And then here's plantaris. So there's that muscle. And then here is the tendon. It's going to go all the way down here. So you can see it gets very, very tiny and skinny. Now, what plantaris is actually going to do is it's going to assist with plantar flexion. So it can't do it by itself, but it weakly assists it. We also see just how thick that calcaneal tendon is right here, where soleus and gastrocnemius are forming that. Looking at the deep posterior leg, we're going to isolate all of these muscles. So first off, I'm actually going to start over here on the right side of the screen with flexor hallucis longus. Now, this muscle, if you notice, where its muscle belly is actually orientated, it's actually on the toe side. But if you look at its tendon, it's going to cross over to the big toe. Whereas flexor digitorum, if you actually look down here, it's on the big toe side, and then its tendon's also going to cross over and then split off to all the toes. So when you're looking at the posterior leg, if you'll remember the term back is backwards, it'll keep you in check, because when we get to the fully put together one, you're going to see this muscle and you're going to look down and say, oh, it looks like it's going to the toe side here. I think it's going to be flexor digitorum. But if you remember back is backwards, you'll recall that these tendons are going to cross over, so they're going to look backwards. So flexor hallucis longus is going to be on the toe side, but its tendon will cross over to the big toe and vice versa for flexor digitorum longus. We also have tibialis posterior, which is going to be the muscle belly up here is going to be orientated about right between the 2 of these. And so put together, we can get a better picture here. So here is flexor hallucis longus. Again, toe side back is backwards. So you see it crossing over to that big toe. Here's flexor digitorum longus. Again, it's going to cross over. And then we see tibialis posterior right here in between them. And over here on this side of the screen, we've removed everything but tibialis posterior and the flexor digitorum longus. So here's tibialis posterior and flexor digitorum. That will complete the muscles of chapter 4. In our next videos, we'll be covering the blood vessels and the nerves.